Aspire, where we look into the lives of unique individuals that are reaching their goals and all of their dreams that they aspire to accomplish. And I have with me a very special guest today, fitness professional Courtney McDonald. Courtney, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you for having me.
I am so excited to have you on.
I am too.
Just to give the viewers a little background, we have a little bit of a connection. When I was working for Vicissitude magazine, I booked you for a fitness photo shoot, and that was your first print work.
Yes, it was.
It was. And also, I was in attendance at the competition where you won your pro card.
I know, it was such an amazing moment.
Yeah.
I'm so happy you were there with me.
Yeah, I was so excited to be there. So I am really looking forward to digging in to find out, all the steps leading up to getting up to that point. So, but first, I always ask my guests, what was it like growing up?
Well, growing up, I was always into something. My mother always had me into dancing, soccer. I was never just sitting at home watching TV.
Anything active?
Anything active.
Right. It's not like the kids these days with their iPads 24/7.
No, we didn't have anything like that. So I always had to find something to, take up my time. I played the flute. I did cheerleading throughout high school. I ran track. I played tennis. So there was always and on top of that, I was in groups, different types of groups in high school. I was on the yearbook committee, and then that all led into, when I went to Boston College.
Right. So being on teams, when you're younger, cheerleading and tennis and all of that, do you feel that instilled a competitive nature within you?
I think so, absolutely. I think I'm an overachiever as well, so I always have to do the best at everything that I do. And I'm always challenging myself to go to that next level, that next step. And I know for me, I like my life with always doing new things every day, always having a new challenge to conquer. And I think that was definitely instilled in me from when I was younger.
Right. And so do you attribute it was that your mom that kept putting you in all of the things when you're younger?
She introduced me to doing that, but it was something inside of me that wanted to do it.
Right.
So it was definitely her helping me stay out of trouble.
Well, she did a very fine job
awesome.
at doing that. Yeah, when we were at your fitness competition, she was there as well. And just when you won, to just see that look of proud mom on her face, priceless, absolutely priceless.
She's my biggest fan.
Yeah, of course. Well, my dad is my biggest fan, so.
That's awesome.
So in high school, you were compete because cheerleaders compete and all of that, and that is very physically demanding as well. So what about after high school? What did you do after high school?
So when I graduated high school, I went off to Boston College, where I got a degree in communications. And I thought, now here I am, I'm going to start my life. And once I graduated, it wasn't what I expected life to be. There was no more competitions of cheerleading. There was no more running track. I didn't know, that passion I had for certain things in my life, it wasn't there anymore. I had went into the communications field, mostly marketing jobs, business, in the business world.
Yes.
And each job that I had, I was like, this is it. Is this what life's about?
This is the real world.
This is the real world. I did not like any of the jobs that I had. Personal relationships, as far as having a boyfriend, that wasn't happening either. So I'm like, well, my dream of getting married and having children, that's not happening, So I couldn't find a niche.
So when you were in all of these communications, marketing jobs or whatever, so did you feel like you had this inner struggle? You felt like you spent all this time schooling?
Oh, absolutely. It was a huge struggle because I was trying to find something to challenge me, challenge my mind, and I wasn't finding that in the positions that I was holding.
Right.
And I felt, was it a waste of time that I went to school? I mean, Boston College was my dream school.
Right. I mean, that's a great school.
Yeah, it was something that I worked so hard for 4 years in high school, and then I worked 4 years, to get my bachelor's degree, and I felt, what did I use it for?
And so so you're no longer in that field, obviously.
No.
So what was the turning point? Like, what made you say, like, I'm out of here?
So it was about 5 years ago, my grandmother's health declined, and we found out that she had dementia, but it was a severe form of dementia where it affected her apathy and herself taking care of herself. So me, along with a couple of other family members, decided to be her primary caregivers.
Wow.
And that gave me so much joy. It was a humbling moment for both me and my grandmother, because she's like a second mom to me.
Yeah.
But it also gave me so much joy because I felt like I was doing something with my life finally.
Oh my gosh.
And that opened my eyes to wanting to change my life and go in a different direction. And through careful discussion with my mother and looking into different careers, I decided to get a second bachelor's in nursing.
Now, that is truly admirable, because that takes a lot of courage.
Absolutely.
To, number one, not sort of admit you made a mistake, but admit that, you went in a field that you didn't like, and to take the courage and change it around and not, go with what you originally thought was your plan.
Oh, absolutely. And then also to feel that at the point where I was in my life, to just give up everything and start from scratch again.
Right.
I was very scared, as far as where am I going to get the money. I had bills, I got a new car, but I knew what the right thing to do was, and I knew everything. I'm a very spiritual person, and I knew if I just gave my faith and put it into God, and I knew I was doing the right thing, it would all work out.
Right.
So
go with the flow.
I did. I just went with the flow. So I quit my job, signed up for school full time, and I got a part-time job waitressing, bartending, and I took care of my grandmother. And 4 years later,
Bartending, I remember going to the nightclubs,
Yeah.
and you were my bartender.
Yeah.
And you made the best drinks.
I have been told I'm a good bartender.
We have found each other in our
Absolutely.
lives in all different
venues.
Yeah, different points.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
It just goes to show like what's meant to be, and people are brought together all the time for different reasons. So
Perfectly said. So you went back to school. And so what did you go to school for?
So I went to school for nursing.
Okay.
And when I started the field, I had to take all my anatomy classes, health classes, biology classes, and I fell in love with the human body.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and it made me realize what happens to us as we get older. So I wanted to start taking care of myself. So I started working on myself internally by changing careers. Now I wanted to work on it externally as well. So I decided to put all my efforts into the gym. I hired a personal trainer who taught me how to use all the weights correctly. And I met a lot of people through working out at the gym, and that's how I fell into the fitness industry. So
do you feel like by going to school for nursing, it taught you how to sort of exercise correctly?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially one of the information that I found out is that, like, as a woman gets older, her bone density declines.
Correct. After 30, right?
After 30.
Yes.
And at the time I said, oh my God.
I'm approaching.
I'm nervous. This can't happen to me. And I knew my grandmother's health, what was going on with her, and she has osteoporosis.
Right.
So I said, I don't want that to happen to me. I need to turn back the hands of time a little bit.
Right. Well, back then, they didn't have the technology to know what would give you osteoporosis, when you're like 60, 70 years old. So sort of, you made a negative situation, what your grandmother was going through, and you turned it into a positive experience.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
And it's funny because I look back on everything that has gone through, what I have gone through, and I made everything into a positive. And
so how did your grandmother feel about this? When did you tell her it was because of her that you went into nursing? Absolutely. It's funny because since I have taken on the role of taking care of her, as well as my mother and a couple of her siblings, her brothers and sisters, my grandmother's health has stabilized, and she hasn't gotten worse. Oh my gosh. So it has been a very humbling experience for me, and I'm very grateful
at the same time.
Right. So you went to school for nursing, and that was like, oh, I'm not getting osteoporosis. I am going to go to the gym and work on my bone density workout. So you're in the gym, you hired a trainer, and you're working out. And so what made you get into, I like this a real lot?
So I went to one of my friend's bodybuilding competitions. And I never knew women did it. I thought it was just a male sport, and I went to support him. And I saw these beautiful women on stage, and people I was with said, oh, those are the figure women. And I looked at them, I go, I can do that. That's something I want to do. And I researched the industry, found out what exactly it was, to do a fitness show.
Competition, yeah.
And I decided that day I'm going to do it.
You signed up for, you're like, I'm training for a competition.
That's it, I'm doing it. And I haven't stopped. I absolutely love it. It has been the best, the past 4 years. I got into it in 2010 was my first show.
Yes.
And
so relatively new, not your whole life or anything like that.
Relatively new, but it's something that will always be part of my life.
And so when I went to the show, it was very inspiring. Like, it made me want to go home and do push-ups and all of, and all of that. And also for our viewers, at the end of the show, we're going to do a little run-through, and we're going to show some images of your fitness tear sheets and your competition pictures when you're on the stage and all of that. So we'll show them, all of the hard work, what you look like when you're on stage. And so speaking of that, what does it take to train for a competition?
You have to have discipline.
Yes.
And you cannot, the way you look at yourself in the mirror is not how other people are going to look at you. So it takes discipline, it takes a tough skin. And it takes, I believe someone needs to hire a coach.
Yes.
So they can be guided in the correct way of eating.
Correct.
A lot of people don't know how to eat correctly. So by dieting the correct way, you can do it in a healthy way.
Right. And I mean, if it was easy, everybody would be up on that stage competing.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's literally a 24/7 dedication.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Which brings me back to what I had growing up. I always had so many things going on and so many goals to meet. So when I went back to nursing school, I had that goal that I was working towards, my degree in nursing. And now I had a personal goal that I was working towards. So I was always meeting these constant goals.
Right.
I was never bored.
And so in your, how long does it take to train for a show?
Usually 12 to 14 weeks of dieting.
Okay.
So
about 3-4 months or something
3-4
like
months,
that?
absolutely.
And so within that time period, it was probably around 3 or 4, a couple months before your show, I was still working for Vicissitude magazine. And that was based out of Pennsylvania when I was living in Philly, and I moved back to Boston, and I was still with them. And so the owner hired me to do their lingerie issue and also some stock photography for their fitness articles. And when I posted an ad, I was looking for fitness models, and I don't think you saw it, but I had 3 people message me, you need to call Courtney and book her.
I just got the chills.
And so that's when I reached out to you. And so as I understand it, that was your first photo shoot.
Yes, it was.
And so what did that feel like? Like, you work so hard and now you get to show it off.
I felt I was very fortunate because for me, it was a hobby that I love to do that turned into a passion, competing and working on my body.
Yep.
And then being given the opportunity to do a photo shoot just was an opportunity to give me the chance to show everybody this is what hard work and dedication can look like.
Right. And so we were putting your images along with the monthly health and fitness articles. So in turn, you're actually inspiring all of the readers.
Absolutely.
You know, so that must have been a great experience.
It really was. It opened up many doors too, and I can't believe how much I've inspired other people. It keeps me doing what I love to do with the health and fitness industry.
Right. And so you were the only one of the models that day, because we were doing lingerie and fitness, and you were the only model, you did both. And the owner loved you so much that he put you on the cover of the lingerie issue. Absolutely. And I was so happy with his decision, because nobody is more deserving than you.
Thank you.
So what was the feedback for that when people saw that you made the cover? Like, I saw your Facebook was blowing up.
Well, social media is awesome. You know, I mean, it's really a huge way to get your image out there.
Right.
So I was so proud and happy, and it was a huge surprise for me, because
I just saw everybody so happy for you, and it made me happy that, you know what I mean?
I've had a lot of positivity surrounding me throughout the past 4 or 5 years regarding my being in the fitness industry.
Right.
And it's awesome.
So after that, you've done tons of fitness modeling thereafter.
I did a photo shoot with Jordan Samuels.
Yes.
And I was on a poster for the INBF industry. I'm a WNBF pro.
Okay. And what does WNBF stand for the viewers that don't know?
World Natural Federation of Bodybuilding. World
Natural. That means you're not doing steroids. Everything that you're doing is naturally earned.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. And so I see that they post you also on like Facebook fitness motivational pages as well.
Yep.
And that has a huge audience. Yeah. And so what does it feel like to be, inspiring everybody?
It's kind of surreal. It hits me after the fact. When I see the feedback, and I'm like, wow, I'm doing my job.
Yeah.
I'm following my path in life. I'm doing the right thing.
Right. And my heart like smiles when I see it, because I personally know you, and I personally know that you're not doing steroids, and you're not taking diet pills, and it's truly just hard work.
Yeah, it's eating the right foods, going to the gym, following a program,
Right. So speaking of the right foods, not everybody can be strict 100% of the time, but do you have any advice for anybody, like what type of lifestyle diets is there anything we should steer clear of, or how should we follow?
Well, I feel like everything's good in moderation. So if you're going to compete that 12 to 14 weeks, you cut everything bad out: alcohol, junk food, chips. You eat clean, meaning you eat, protein, carbs, and fat. Good carbs, good protein, chicken, brown rice, sweet potatoes. I'm currently in my off season. Yeah. I'm trying to build muscle. I'm going to have that piece of chocolate cake if I want that piece of chocolate cake.
And you're going to enjoy it.
And I'm going to enjoy it. I have wine occasionally. I'm not a big drinker. So, but I do have my fun.
Right.
And I think that's how I'm able to have a balance, because I know how to eat things in moderation and still have fun with my lifestyle.
And you know that when you're training, there will be eventually an off season.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes. So, so I saw you were on stage and you won your pro card, and that's for the Natural Federation, and WNBF. Okay. And so what are the benefits of getting your pro card for those that could be interested in fitness competing? So
I feel like it's all up to the individual, because there are some people that get their pro card and never compete again.
Okay.
Or, for me, I've had all these unbelievable opportunities come to me. A sponsored athlete for Athletic Extreme. It's a supplement company.
Okay.
And I've built many close friendships and relationships through the social media.
Yeah.
And through the industry. And I'm also a sponsored athlete with a clothing line by Swole's Gym. So these are opportunities that came to me, but also I put myself out there to get them, and being a pro gave me that extra edge.
Right, exactly. And you, when opportunity came, you took it.
I took it.
Yes, and you're still going at it.
Absolutely.
And so you mentioned that you're a sponsored athlete.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
So, for example, with the supplement company that I'm a sponsored athlete for, I get free supplements from the company.
Right.
I use them. I promote them. You know, I say how they affect my body, who I would recommend them for.
Right.
I also, and they give me they advertise me as well. So I was, for an example, a few months ago, I was Athlete of the Month for my supplement company.
Okay.
So
it's like a cross promotion.
Absolutely. They promote me just as much as I promote them.
And so what type of supplements? Like what type of company is this?
They have fat burners. It's all legal within the WNBF industry too.
Yes.
Because we have a huge banned substance list. So all of their products correspond with it. And they have creatine, they have BCAAs, so all stuff that you use in conjunction with your diet.
Yes.
And going to the gym.
And BCAAs, that's items that are commonly occurring in regular food.
Absolutely.
It's just that we need it in more doses if you're going to be on a fitness weights. Competitive level.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Yeah. And so what do you have on the horizon?
So my goals for 2014.
You always have
a goal. I want to get now that I'm a nurse and I'm working in the field, I want to get my personal trainer's license this year.
Okay. I just became a Beachbody coach, by the way.
Oh, that's so exciting. I just found out. That's awesome.
Yeah, I just did last week. And because I feel like it's, like you said, it's so important. Like when you got into fitness, you immediately hired a coach.
Absolutely.
Because nobody can do it by themselves. No. And it's actually more fun when you have someone motivating you and all of that.
Absolutely.
So, all right, continue your goals.
I'm looking forward to getting my personal trainer's license. And then I'm also going to start my own business on the side. I want to get my Botox license because I'm going to be a nurse. Yeah, so that's another goal. I like to have a small business there on the side.
Nice. I will be needing that soon.
So it's huge up and coming for nurses. So, and I always empower women to get into doing something on their own, building their own business. So that's a side business I'd love to do. So those two things: being a personal trainer, getting my license taken care of there, and continuing to inspire others. I don't want to let my fire burn out yet.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And so you mentioned about nursing. I just wanted to go back. Now, when you go to nursing school, I know they teach you about anatomy and all of that, but do they teach you about nutrition either, or is it strictly medicine?
No, absolutely nutrition too.
Like preventative?
Yes, because I have to teach, I'm a cardiac nurse, so I have to teach my patients the appropriate diet for their cardiac disease.
Okay.
So to prevent future issues, with your heart, this is what you should eat. Right. So I learned that part. I learned all that nutrition not only with my experience, but also within nursing school, and and I applied it to myself as well.
Now, do they also teach you about all the additives that are in food? Did they get into that, or do you sort of learn that on the fitness side?
I learned that on the fitness side, absolutely. But even with I learned that through my my friends in the fitness industry, even in my supplement company, we have a private message board where we're always going back and forth with what's in protein shakes and what, what should you, take, what kind of supplements should you take here, and don't eat this type of food, but have this instead. There are some fishes I used to love to eat, and I don't eat them anymore.
Right. Well, you look amazing. So whatever you're doing is absolutely right. So
I think having a positive mind helps too.
Right. And so we talked about, you being an inspiration to so many people. And so who are you inspired by? Who do you look up to?
I look up to you. You're
I
one
look
of my
up to
inspirations. Everyone that I surround myself in the fitness industry, we keep each other going.
Right.
There's like my extended family. My mother, she's a nurse, so she's a wonderful nurse. She's been a nurse for years. So as far as my profession goes there,
Yeah.
I look up to her. So it's we all keep each other in check and, you know, make us go to that next level.
Right. I actually just read in an article a few days ago. It was a great article. And the subject was, you know, why successful people ditch their loser friends. But something that was said in there was, you are the average of the sum of the 5 closest people that are in your life. You know what I mean? So it's like you emulate, like it's great to keep positive people around you so that you can stay on that same wavelength.
Absolutely. It's funny because I had, at one point in my life, within the past 10 years, I had a lot of negativity in it. And I can say I don't have hardly any negative people surrounding me anymore.
And look what happens. You just have positive going on because
really
you don't keep negative people.
And don't get me wrong, I mean, I still have days where people try to bring me down, especially being on, you know, on a public site. Like,
Right,
you know,
exactly.
but I just ignore it, and
Right.
I know that I'm better than that. You know,
Right.
they're not chasing their dreams.
Right,
They're
exactly.
just-
And
yeah.
that's what we love about this show, Aspire. You are aspiring for all of your goals.
Yeah, it's pretty
So
cool.
we are about to wrap up. We only have a couple minutes left. So when we wrap up, we're gonna show all of your great print work and your athlete of the month and your sponsorship photos,
That's
so
awesome.
everybody can see you in your element. And I'm so glad to be able to show you off. So is there any sort of advice or anything that you want to leave the viewers about, like, you know, like you said, like changing your college, or any sort of advice about anything?
I feel if anyone's struggling with their life, or they have a turning point, they feel like they need a change, do it. You know, you only live once. Doesn't matter how young or old you are. Doesn't matter, you know, what you're going through. But think about yourself. Think about what's going to happen if you make this move, and it will all fall into place. You know, just surround yourself by positive people, positive things, and go after what you really desire in life.
I absolutely love it. Well, Courtney, thank you so much for coming on Aspire. It was such a dream to be able to talk to you and learn more things that I didn't know about you.
Thank you. I'm honored to be on your show. Thank you so much.
All right.